to session 2.1 on gender perspective. A hazard has struck. From this point of view, it is impossible to make out what the reality of the situation is. If we have a closer look, we can see a flooded village and multiple affected people, but not much else. We can therefore only assume that all persons in this specific context have similar needs and priorities. However, as we have seen throughout the course, this is not the case. One-size-fits-all approaches are ineffective and often fail to represent the needs of women and marginalized groups. So, how can we see more clearly and ensure that our measures benefit all of society? By putting on our gender lenses. Now that we have our glasses on, we can see that there has indeed been a flood, but that the persons affected include women, girls, boys, men, a person with non-binary gender identity, elderly persons, and a person with a physical disability. At this point in the course, we know that these persons' capacities, skills, and vulnerabilities differ due to a number of factors such as gender, sexuality, social status, disability, among others. A gender lens, or in other words, a gender perspective, substantially improves our vision. It allows us to understand the role that gender plays in society and in disaster risk reduction. We all have blurry vision when it comes to gender, which is why making a conscious effort to adopt a gender perspective is key to effective DRR. It takes practice and requires consultation and a willingness to question norms and assumptions. This is because our assumptions about women, girls, boys, men, and persons with non-binary gender identities are deeply rooted and greatly influence our understanding about their needs, vulnerabilities, and capacities pre- and post-disaster. If we fail to adopt a gender perspective in disaster risk reduction, our interventions risk leaving women and marginalized groups behind, represent missed opportunities to build on the capacities, experiences, and leadership of women and marginalized groups, are not sustainable as they do not target all of society equally. A gender perspective is imperative to achieve the all-of-society approach promoted by the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. Let's investigate how it can help realize the targets of the framework. There are 7 targets, but for this example, we will focus on Target B, substantially reduce the number of affected people globally by 2030. Currently, progress on the achievement of Target B is measured through 5 indicators which focus on analyzing the number of people directly affected by disasters. All of them call for data to be disaggregated by hazard, income, sex, age, and disability. This is important because it invites member states to systematically engage in data collection on disaster impacts for both men and women, and paves the way for global and national losses of human lives and livelihood aspects to be calculated and analyzed in a gender-differentiated way. An all-of-society approach requires that all members of society benefit equally from Target B. This cannot be understood through disaggregated data alone. Adopting a gender perspective means going beyond the existing indicators to measure our progress in achieving Target B. We do this by analyzing the groups of women, girls, boys, men, and persons with non-binary gender identities that are affected by a specific disaster. How the different groups are affected, both directly and indirectly. Whether specific marginalized groups, such as the LGBTQIA+ community or disabled persons, are particularly affected. A gender perspective gives us a clearer picture of the groups of people affected by disasters and allows us to understand whether we have achieved Target B for all members of society equally. We must always make sure to wear our gender lenses. Applying a gender perspective to all targets of the Sendai framework sets the foundation for building back better and leaving no one behind.